So today we're going to talk about balance. So what do I mean by balance? Balance in life is everything you see in life. There's not just black and white. There's also gray. And a lot of people don't see that. It's either you are perfect or you're a failure. It's either you're really nice or you're a jerk. You know, I saw something with LL Cool J. He says, I'm not a nice guy, I'm a good guy. And a nice guy is the one that gets taken advantage of. And a good guy is the one that, if things don't look right, they're going to step up and they're going to let you know. So, you know, you want to be in that balance of the gray area. You don't want to be too much on one side. I call it a scaling system. So if you have too much of a big heart and you have too little of solid confidence, you're going to be a mess. This was me back maybe like 8 years ago, 10 years ago. I made a promise to myself. I said, I'm going to be the nicest person anybody ever met. Everybody's going to say I'm really nice. And it didn't work for me. People kept taking advantage of me. So the balance was not good. It's only when my wife helped me along for 8 years to say, hey, this nice guy stuff is not working. This nice guy stuff is getting you in trouble. It's keeping you very vulnerable. So eventually I started moving it up, and now I have the perfect balance where, you know, if somebody wants to say something to me, I'll be nice. But if they cross my line, I have like a line around me, and my line is not my tolerance line, I like to call it, is not that big. My tolerance line is really close to me, meaning I don't snap at every little thing. I let things go a lot. I don't get upset right away. If you're a jerk one time, I'll say, okay, we'll let this one go, but I'm going to keep a mental log of that. You come again and you do the same joke, you're going to get it. And that's what I mean by my tolerance line. When I first came out of this nice guy thing, I was just a monster. I was always getting mad at everyone, F-bombs here. I had to learn how to regulate it, and you eventually start to get it like medication. If anyone's ever taken any kind of depression pills, you know, you have to get the right formula to get the right balance. So when I first got out of that, and the reason why I was too nice was it was a coping strategy. And like I talked about in my Instagram, a coping strategy of I didn't want no one to hurt me. I didn't want anybody to put me down. I was afraid of people. So I had to really be so nice. And I'm like, if I'm really nice, how can they want to be aggressive towards me? Because I didn't like any kind of aggression. And then I meet my wife at the time, and she was really aggressive. She was like always like, these people at work. And I told her one time, I was like, you're too aggressive. And it's like, this is who I am. If you don't like it, then we can't be together. So I had to tolerate it, and it was the best thing, because I learned to work my line down and eventually have a firmness, and you can't. I know somebody else now that I'm working with that she is up here and she's trying to tell me that you have to always be nice even though they're mean to you. That's the right way to do it. And I'm telling her, I said, no, I've been there. You don't want to do that because you keep eating up the anger, and it just sits inside you. I used to have a ball inside me of frustration because I'm like, I ate this, I ate that, I should have said something here, I should have said something there. And you sit with this regret that you're constantly saying shoulda, coulda. Now that thing is free. I know how to deal with people, and I deal with people every day. I work in a management company, and I'm always dealing with new people all the time. And people want to take their bad day out on me, and I'm like, hey, relax. Unless the situation is okay, let me let it go for now, and I'll move on. So I have this tolerance line that I kind of let go. But if I feel like you're using me as a carpet, you're gonna get it. I'm gonna let you have it in a firm way. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it was this crazy man way, and my wife was like, "You're too much now. Now I was like this. My anger, my toughness, and my niceness was down here. So I first was up here with my niceness and my toughness, and now I was down over here a year and a half ago. So I learned to bring it even. I was up here for many years, all my life, and then I went this way with too much anger and a little niceness, and I eventually started to come across and balance it out perfectly. So I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy with where I am now in my life, and I have someone that I'm helping that she's telling me that, you know, that's not the right way to go, and she's seeing with a different pair of glasses. So what else is balance? Balance is patience. Don't get impatient about everything. Don't sweat the small stuff. That's balance. Know that the small stuff, especially if you're in a big city, know that the small stuff's are going to happen daily. So that's a balance. You don't want to be too aggressive about the small stuff. What else is a balance? So my perception of people at higher positions like doctors, lawyers, I looked at them as the holy grail. Like, oh my goodness, you know, I'm not worthy. Without even thinking, like, could this person be like me, a human? My balance was off. I was looking at them too high, and I wasn't. Now I give them equal like me. I'm like, okay, you have to prove to me that you're a cool guy. You know, I don't care your status. I don't care your title. You know, I balance that out. And there's so much out there that you have to, you know, once you start noticing that you have to start balancing stuff, you jump, leap, and bounds. So, yeah, so balance is very important. You know, you also have to worry about, if you have anger stuff, you have to worry about coffee. Coffee was a big thing for me. I used to get really angry, and I had to switch to decaf. You know, certain situations, you know, certain people who have memories with me used to get the best of me, and that used to get me off balance. So, like, I have a family member that gets the best of me from when childhood, and I learned to now, when I see this person, to hold my heart tight and caged up. I balance myself, because I used to be so heartfelt with this person, and I used to get disappointed. This person used to bring me down, make me sad, and I didn't have a balance there. I kept pushing to get this person to be awesome with me, pushing, and it wasn't getting there, and I kept pushing, and I kept getting hurt down here. Now I brought it back, and I brought it down, and I'm like holding my heart very closed in, and I don't get hurt. So many levels in the balance world. So coping strategies is another thing I posted. People do a lot of actions because of a reaction. So if you're feeling insecure about who you are, you're feeling like vulnerable, you don't want people to see your feelings, you bring on a persona of toughness that shields your little inner child from getting hurt. You put on a persona, which I did, to be really funny and entertaining. I spent a lot of time trying to entertain all the time. I said, if people are laughing, then they're not going to hurt my feelings. And I don't do that no more. I go to parties, I go to events, and I'm just me. Before, I used to switch on, put a new hat on, and become this, like, you know, disco ball, you know? So you don't want to be that way. You want to be even. You know, you want to be yourself. You know, any kind of sensations you feel, you work on them head on. You get a therapist. You can get somebody like me to help you. But you should not use a coping strategy. Another coping strategy would be people pleasing. You know, that's a part of me when I was nice. Being too nice, I was worried about somebody hurting me. So if I can be super nice, they won't hurt me. Overeating to numb the pain. Now you're not trying to do anything. You're just trying to numb it. You don't want to see it. You want to hear it. You just want to get rid of the sensation that you feel every day. And then what do? You wake up the next morning and you feel it again, you know? So you dive in. When I did therapy, yeah, there was moments when my therapist used to dive in, and I used to call it throwing up a bowling ball. He used to hit some heavy stuff for me. And when they were coming out, it was like throwing up a bowling ball. I used to cry. I used to be like, wow. And then after the rain, the sun came out. So it's a pain when you're going through it, but you get to the other side. And you just got to be strong-minded. You know, there's a lot of people that are strong physically. They'll pick up a bag of whatever, a case of water, and bring it up 4 flights of stairs. But there's other people that are not. The same person is not strong-minded. And I was one of those people. Now I could sit with everything and figure it out. I'll sit with heavy pain. I'll sit with heavy anxiety. And I'm grateful that I was just worried about medication. and I didn't want to take it, fear of side effects, that my back was against the wall, and I pushed myself. And I said, I'm going to be stronger, and I'm going to not take any medication because I don't know what these side effects are about. You know, I used to Google them and I'd be like, hell no, I'm not getting on this stuff. So with my fear of taking medication, I build up like calluses on my brain, on my mind, of pushing through and getting stronger and working on myself, you know, and that's a good balance too. You know, you're not running to a pill in order to feel better. You know, it gets me so sad because, you know, pills are so rampant now. You know, depression pills, Lexapro. And I talk to people all the time and I say, you know, why are you on this? You could do better. And they don't answer me. They don't want to know. So, you know, we have to, as a society, get strong-willed again. We have to not fall into the slippery slope of having everything handed to us. iPhones, for example, everything's done for us. Everything's easy now. GPS, we don't have to figure out where we're going. We have to, as a society, be like it was in the 80s, if you're an 80s child, and just figure it out. You know, don't let anybody hold your hand because that's going to weaken you. Balance. If you're too weak, you can't figure things out. You got to get stronger, and then you can work on figuring out how to heal things. If you're too weak, if you're down here with your weakness, this is going to stay up. You're going to keep taking medication, overeating, you know, being aggressive, being a people pleaser. So you guys have to work on the balance. Stop the medication, face it, and then you'll see you don't have to drink anymore. You don't have to take drugs. You don't have to people please, and you'll have that balance. So be aggressive, be strong, be strong-willed, you know. And, you know, my wife is the strongest person I've ever met. But when it comes to her working on the onion form and fighting some moments that she goes through, she's like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, you're so strong. And then she motivates herself and she does it. And then she feels like $1 million. You know, I know she's going to not be happy. I tell her, but, you know, she's going for her master's program and she got overwhelmed that her first day of school, her first class, she's starting now, and she doesn't feel like she's worthy to get her master's. People have been telling her that, you know, it's hard. They went through it. It's so hard. And she's having a lack of confidence with it. And it stems back to her mom making her feel like she was dumb. So one day she, literally 11 o'clock at night, I'm helping her with her homework. And she kept saying, you think I'm dumb. You think I'm dumb. I said, okay, it's time for the onion form. You're not dumb. It's coming from somewhere. And she fought me and fought me and fought me. And she was crying. And then she wrote the first form, tears in her eyes. The second form, a little smile. The third form, she was coming back to being grounded again. By the fourth form that we filled out, she was smiling, happy, back to her normal self. Okay, so it's just sensations that kick up. She was in the middle of not knowing what to do with this homework. She had her amygdala kicked in. You're not good enough. Remember what your mom said? And then she starts believing it, and then she feels like she's dumb. And when you feel like you're dumb, you're not going to see clearly. You're going to see blurry, and you're going to start doing the homework in a very overwhelmed feeling. You have to stop, fill out a form, journal. If you don't have the onion form, you could do what I call diary/therapist, and you could say, what am I feeling right now? I'm feeling sad. Okay, why are you feeling sad? And then you explain it, right? I feel dumb with this homework. All right, but you're not dumb. You know you're better than that. That's where the therapist kicks in. You become your therapist, and you become your investigator. The diary part is investigating what the feelings are, and then the therapist part is solving it by you being your own therapist. You could do that dance back and forth through a form. You fill out, or any kind of sheet of paper, but don't sit with the feelings. If you sit with the feelings, that's a form of weakness. It's down here. You have to get up here, okay? Because if you're down here, then the pain is up here, the tears and the confusion. So you have to bring the strength up, and then that will get healed. And now you have balance with you fighting the sensations. It's just, now that I'm better, it mind boggles me how people want to swim in a trigger. You know, somebody does them wrong. I get on it right away. I'll go in a dark place and I'll close my eyes and start to piece it together. I don't want to sit with it. You know what you could also do is put your head down and look at your chest. Your chest here, this area, emits a lot of sensations of your childhood, and you'll see it so clearly. You're like, the little kid is sad, the little kid is scared. You can give it a hug. This is somatic. You can pet and pet. You can massage it, which is you're caressing the little child. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You can do what I'd say is pretend you're in a therapy room in a circle, and put the people that you trust the most in the circle. Even if it's two people, you explain your story to the people in the room, and you see what they would tell you back. And then you could even sit in one of those chairs, have your body in one chair, and have your eyes on another body, another chair, and you're watching yourself. It's weird. You're watching yourself explain the story, and then you can give yourself advice in the room. You had that visualization. Or you can have your relative or friend give you the advice. What would they normally tell you? Snap out of it. Get stronger. You're fine. Nothing's going to happen to you. You're going to be okay. This is coming from this. This is coming from that. So find the tricks. Like I did a posting, see yourself in the movie screen, going through a crowded place, feeling worried. What did that person need right now? What do you need right now? Look at yourself in the screen, walking into the crowd. What's the fear? And then you see it so clearly. Like, I was bumped, and one time I fell and somebody broke my nose, and I couldn't breathe for 2 weeks. And that's my fear. But you're not going to know until you kind of step away from yourself, because when you're in it and you're swimming in it, it's so hard. So the trick is to step away from yourself in ways that you can, tricks that you can. I mean, there's more than just a movie theater screen, a therapy setup, the diary thing, the diary therapist. It's just, you got to step away from yourself, step away from what you're feeling, because when you're in it, you're in rinse cycle, you're swimming in it. So you have to find tricks to step away. What I like to do sometimes is I look at myself in the mirror. Look at yourself on your camera phone. Read the chest energy and say, what do I need right now? And you talk to yourself in the mirror. Because now there's a trickery going on that you're outside your head and you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Tricks like that get you outside of your head and feeling better. I always say when you're on vacation, you're in the here now, because you're looking at everything you've never seen before. So your brain is like, wow, wow, wow. And nothing could touch you then. If something kicks up, you instantly solve it. You're like, I know what this is. Because you're on vacation, your brain's seeing something different, especially if you go to like Italy or something. Your brain sees something different. You're in the here now, and nothing can touch you. So the trick is to get into the here now. How do you get there? You do what you think is best. Come up with ideas. You know, that's what somatic is about. Somatic is all these little tricks, like riding a bike. Riding a bike is a sense of empowerment. You ride a bike and you pretend like you're moving away from rocks, or you're skiing and you're moving down the mountain and dodging trees. That's a sense of empowerment that your body needs to say, I got this. I'm strong enough. I'm powerful. So basically, yeah. So that's why I wanted to talk about balance, and knowing that if you don't have the balance, if you don't even it out, then you're in an influx. You're in a feeling of trauma, and that's all it is. Don't stay away from the pills. The pills are going to make you feel just okay, and you never solve the issue. If you got abused as a child and you're taking pills, the abuse is still there, living inside you, rent free. So why do you need a Band-Aid? Get in there, be brave, solve it. All right, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The worst, I've been through the worst, and nothing damaged me. I could still speak clearly. I have, my brain is more stronger than ever, and I've been through hell and back with my issues. All right, and my head is fine. I'm totally healthy. I can speak. I'm quick. I'm smart. I'm creative. If that's your fear, don't worry about it. You're not going to become like some kind of like dumb person with your mouth drooling. You're not. If you fight it and it gets too heavy, it'll be fine. You'll bounce back. You could do a combination of GABA and 5-HTP as a little temporary patch. If you're having a little low day, those are supplements that you could buy. GABA and 5-HTP. You work on the combination, maybe one of one. And that's what I used to use to kind of calm myself. All right? But, you know, you're taking these medications, chemicals, man. It's chemicals in your mind. And people have a hard time, or they kind of like okay with chemicals in their mind, eating randomly from outside carts, vendor carts. Like, protect your body, man. Protect your body from alcohol, drugs, nasty food from outside. If it's from a nasty area that doesn't feel right, these nasty medications to make you feel better, you're just messing up your insides. It's like taking your car and, doing a derby with it, and crashing it, your favorite car. That's what we're doing with our insides. We don't see it because it's subtle. But, I firmly believe that cancer and all this stuff comes from the everyday stuff. And that's a story for a whole nother day. But, the story for today is just balance yourself, work on yourself. If you need help, I'm here. And I hope you guys are going to have a great day wherever you are. And thank you for joining.